أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الفاتح الخاتم وعلى آله حق قدر الدار العظيم. السلام عليكم. Good morning everyone. I'm back with another series of lectures on the philosophy of religion. This being the first episode, what I want to discuss on this is that religion, first and foremost, we should start from the premise of why do we exist? Nothing can exist for nothing. There must be an essential reason for the existence of everything. No creature will come into this world without it justifying its existence. How does creatures justify their existence? They will come to serve a particular purpose that none else can serve. They may come to promote a particular interest. They may sometimes constitute an extension of another long series of creatures, for example. Let's, for example, take that's the kingdom of animals. We know that insects justify their existence by being consumed by bigger ones, by bigger insects. For example, small insects being consumed by small creatures like rats, rats, lizards being consumed by cats, cats being devoured by dogs, dogs being eaten away by hyenas, and so on and so forth. When you observe the universal system, the entire system of existence, you can see that most creatures grow to a particular level of maturity only for them to be consumed by some bigger creatures. I don't want people to misinterpret this to concur with Darwinian theory. Is not. What I mean in essence here is that at the end of the day, you see all the creatures serving human beings. All the creatures will come to serve the human beings. As for the human beings, whom are they supposed to serve? That is why you can see in the philosophy of religion, when you assess the evolution of religion, that's from the existence of man, you can see those who do not recognize the creator of the world as worthy to be worshipped. Those who worship other objects have never claimed that they were created by those objects. The best claim that they may have is that those objects have some intervening power to help them in moments of distress or moments of calamity. But for example, no idol worshipper can ever claim that he was created by the same idol that he worships. In fact, even those who resorted to worshiping human beings, for example, none of them had ever claimed that that particular person they worship created them. They can only claim that those objects of worship may have some intervening power that can help promote their interests or provide them with protection or help them realize their goals and so on and so forth. So here, the point here is that who deserve to be worshipped? For example, if you invent a particular device or a particular machine or anything, who is more entitled than you? That is there anyone that can claim entitlement to the service of that particular device or that machine more than you? There is none. You can't, in fact, you can't even buy a device or a machine or any object of for your personal use, only for that object to be more committed to someone else who does not own it. Does it sound logical? Does not. You can't, for example, buy yourself a car as a means of transport for your personal use, only for that car to be taken away from you by someone forcefully, and then the other person will use it in the manner that you, the owner, should have used it. There is no justification for this injustice. So with this analogy, we can understand the gravity of someone worshipping other than his own creator. That is there anyone that can afford this injustice? Is there anyone that can tolerate and condone this kind of injustice? There is none. It appears the cardinal principle of ownership, that if you own a particular thing, you are more entitled to its use than anyone else, appears to be a universal principle. No one has ever doubted it at any point in time throughout the human history, that whoever owns something, he deserves its use much more than anyone else. He deserves its services much more than anyone else. That requires no further justification. It's an indisputable reality. So on that basis, the Almighty Allah created this universe, and then having created it, He created all its contents, and all were assigned their own responsibilities, their own roles, all other creatures. But you can see at the supremacy of the entire system of existence, you find human beings, because all other creatures are subjugated by human beings, while human beings are subjugated by none. All other creatures can be manipulated, can be used, can be taken advantage of by human beings. But in the case of human beings, none can take advantage of them, none can use them. For example, animals that were created for us, the Almighty Allah mentioned it vividly in the Holy Quran, that some of them were created for our consumption, others were created for us as means of transport. The Almighty Allah said, "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wal an'ama khalaqaha lakum fiha dif'un wa manafi' wa minha ta'kulun wa lakum fiha jamalun hina turihuna wa hina tasrahun wa tahmilu athqalakum ila baladin lam takunu balighi illa bishikil anfus inna rabbakum lara'ufur rahim wal khayla wal bighala wal hamira litarkabuha wa zina wa yakhluqu ma la ta'lamun." That as for the animals, said the Almighty Allah, as for the domestic animals, khalaqaha, the Almighty Allah created them. Lakum fiha dif'un wa manafi. We get some warmth out of the animals. Warmth here is a reference to the fact that in those days, the hides of animals are used as clothing materials, as well as building materials sometimes. Instruments that used to be as materials that were being used in providing shelter. Because when you compare this verse with another one in the same chapter, where the Almighty Allah said, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِ الْأَنْعَامِ جُلُودًا الْأَنْعَامِ بُيُوتًا تستخفون يوم زعنكم ويوم إقامتكم ومن أصوافها وأوبارها وأشعارها أثاثا ومتاعا إلى حين. That the Almighty Allah provided shelters for you, provided warmth, provided home for you in your shelters, because home is different from house. Home, when you say home, it gives some sense of security, some sense of safety, some sense of being at home, for example. That's why I say, وَاللَّهُ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا. You can see, even though the Quran differentiated between house and home. جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن بُيُوتِكُمْ سَكَنًا وَجَعَلَ لَكُم مِّن جُلُودِ الْأَنْعَامِ بُيُوتًا. And then He provided shelter for you with the hides of animals as materials of constructing your shelters. So that's why the Almighty Allah here said, لَكُمْ فِيهَا دِفْءٌ وَمَنَافِعٌ وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And you derive a lot of benefits from the use of those animals. Milk, their hearts, their hairs, and so on and so forth. وَمِنْهَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And you sustain yourself by consuming the meat of the animals. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا جَمَالٌ حِينَ تُرِيدُونَ تَسْرِحُونَ. And in fact, it provides you with adornment, means of adornment, as you are rearing them in the morning and in the evening. وَتَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ. And those meant to be means of transport, that is, the animals that are meant to be a means of transport, تَحْمِلُ أَثْقَالَكُمْ. They convey your luggage, your heavy luggage. إِلَى بَلَدٍ لَمْ تَكُونُوا بَالِغِهِ إِلَّا بِشِقِّ الْأَنفُسِ. They convey your heavy luggage on a long journey, a long journey. إِلَى بَلَدٍ لَمْ to distant destinations that you couldn't have reached except by almost getting yourself suffocated out of hardship. إِلَّا بِشِقِّ الْأَنفُسِ إِنَّ رَبَّكُمْ لَرَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. Certainly your Lord is the most compassionate and the most merciful one. وَالْخَيْلَ وَالْبِغَالَ وَالْحَمِيرَ لِتَرْكَبُوهَا وَزِينَةً. Here the Almighty Allah provided details of those animals. In the earlier verse they were mentioned generally, but this particular verse provided details by mentioning the names of the animals. وَالْخَيْلَ horses, وَالْبِغَالَ mules, وَالْحَمِيرَ donkeys, لِتَرْكَبُوهَا وَزِينَةً, so that you can mount them and as a show of adornment, because you wouldn't expect a human being you couldn't expect an animal mounting a human being, riding on a human being. Have you ever made that crazy imagination, imagining human being being ridden by an animal? Can we reverse what you always see, that is human beings riding animals? Can we imagine it the other way around? We can't. It's a crazy thought. That means that it provides you with adornment being the rider rather than the one being ridden. So it shows majesty, it shows dignity, respect. So have we ever paused to ask ourselves this logical question, that why wouldn't animals have these guts to use us rather than allowing themselves being used by us? Have we ever thought along that line? I can bet very few of us have ever thought along that line. Have we ever imagined a world where animals take control of everything, where animals take control of human beings and subjugating them? That is a reversal of what we are witnessing right now. Have we ever thought the possibility of that reversal? So that will tell us something. What gave us the guts to take advantage of everything in this world, while none can ever think of taking advantage of us as human beings? Have we ever thought that way? It's very important. That's why I term this new series of lectures as the philosophy of religion. Is because when we think along that way, then that's where we can arrive logically at the conclusion that definitely he who created us and gave us the mandate to take advantage of the entire kingdom of creation, subhanahu wa ta'ala, he is the only one worthy to be worshipped. And that reality, that fact, was the backbone of the missions of all the prophets that were sent by God. So with this, you don't need anyone to tell you that definitely there is a creator of this universe and he's the only one worthy to be worshipped. How is he going to be worshipped? He is the one that will determine how he wants to be worshipped. He has the sole right to define to us how we should worship him. We can't choose for ourselves how to worship him. We can't choose to ourselves when to worship him. Neither can we choose for ourselves the mode or the manner in which we should worship him. All the details will be provided by him, how he wants it, when he wants it, and the manner in which we should conduct it. And the do's and the don'ts, all these, he has the sole right to decide what for us, what to do, what not to do. Because one can ask himself, why can't animals have their own prophets that will guide them on how to worship God? Are they not creatures? Why can't other creatures, have their own prophets too that will guide them on how to worship God? You know why? Because they are